Hey everyone, thank you so much for following along this process of trying to put the show together in 30 days. I'm back in Connecticut for 2 weeks right now, and I just wanted to kind of give you a little recap on the process, what the experience was like, how everything went, what my thoughts are on both the show as well as leading up to the show. There were certain things that we didn't really have time to practice or really go over right beforehand, and I think that's part of the process with trying to do a show in 30 days is that you're doing all of the other parts of it, whether that's booking the venue. It took us, I think, longer than it should have to get the venue. It took us like 2.5 weeks. And then, you already just have a week and a half to try and put a show together. It got to the point where it was a little bit overwhelming and we never really did a full run through, and there were things that we went out on stage and did that we hadn't really gotten a chance to practice yet. So I think that both of us were a little bit disappointed with some of the parts of the performance. But there were a lot of people that told us they really enjoyed it, especially the laymen that came to the show really enjoyed it. There were a lot of magicians that were still surprised and really enjoyed these new unique effects that we had come up with that they had never seen before. And that really meant a lot. A lot of people loved the final vlog, the fact that we premiered the final vlog at the end of the show. I'm so happy that we were able to do that, and thank you so much, Mario, for being an amazing part of that. Now looking back, it was like the whole reason we did the show was to prove to ourselves that we could do it in 30 days, and also to just have a lot of fun with it and to make it a great experience. And it's like performing is my favorite thing in the world. Why is it that leading up to the performance it was so stressful? I think one piece of advice that I'd have for anybody that's trying to do this, but also for like past Blaise before these 30 days, is know that when you're going into a challenge like this, it's never going to live up to your aspirations or your hopes for what you want the show to be, because there just isn't enough time to make it exactly how you imagine. And I think that any advice I'd have for people that are going to be trying to do something like this, to make a show in a really short amount of time, to produce it themselves, market it themselves, get all the food and merchandise, and be in charge of everything, you have to have fun with it. We set this crazy challenge for ourselves, and we knew that there wasn't going to be enough time. So just don't lose that focus, and don't become discouraged if the show isn't where you want it to be. Make it the best you can. Once again, I just really like to thank all of the people that came out to support us. It means so much. There were so many people that were willing to offer their time to help us, to volunteer, to try and make the show better, to do all the jobs that we couldn't possibly do just by ourselves. And I'm just so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for everybody that came to the show. There were so many people that are friends of ours that are magicians that either told us or told friends of ours right after the show, wow, why haven't I done a show? I should do one. It's so cool to hear that. There are a bunch of friends in particular that have told us that they're planning shows within the next couple months because they saw that we were able to do it in 30 days, and now they're inspired to try and just set deadlines for themselves and make it happen. And I think that's so cool. I think in the future, one thing we should do is set defined roles to know what it is that we need to accomplish separately and do a lot of work independently. I think that there were a lot of times where Anna was doing things independently and I wasn't really appreciating them in the moment because I was worried that we weren't getting the step of having the show ready done. But when you write an entirely new show and there's so many things to practice, then it's never going to be ready. And it's not necessarily always a step-by-step process. Sometimes you have to do a lot of people's jobs because you're doing it all yourself. And that means that you have to juggle a lot of different things, and you can't get caught up on one step because it's going to sacrifice all these other aspects. Overall, I think that we did accomplish what we set out to do in the beginning, and I think that's what really matters. We made a show, we entertained our audience, we had a lot of fun performing it, we inspired other people in the audience to want to do their own shows, and we proved that you can really make something if you set your mind to it and you set a deadline and you stick to it. And I think that's what's most important. All right, thank you all so much for following along this process and going to the show, following along these vlogs. It really means so much to us. And I hope that some of you challenge yourselves to do the exact same thing, because I cannot wait to see what some of you put together if you do this 30-day challenge. It's definitely a whirlwind. There's definitely some parts that are really stressful, but it's 100% worthwhile, and you will be very proud of yourself for making something instead of procrastinating and saying it's not ready. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.